Hi, good morning. I welcomes you for the today's lecture about Class 10 Human Eye and Colorful World. As we know that human eye is the one of the most important sense organ. It enables us to see the object and colors around us. This is about the schematic diagram of the human eye. As part of our chapter, we need to discuss mainly about iris, cornea, pupil, lens, retina, and optic nerve. Let's see. The human eye is the sense organ which helps us to see the colorful world around us. The human eye is like a camera. Its lens system forms an image on a light sensitive screen called retina. The eyeball is almost spherical in shape with a diameter of about 2.3 centimeter. The light enters the eye through a transparent membrane called cornea. Behind this cornea, a muscular diaphragm called iris, which has an opening called pupil. The pupil controls the amount of light entering the eye. The eye lens helps to focus the image of object on the retina. The ciliary muscles helps to change the curvature of the lens and to change its focal length. So these are an important points about the description of eye. That is, human eye is just like a camera. Its lens system forms an image on a light sensitive screen called retina. So on a retina, the image will be formed. The eyeball is almost in which shape? It is a spherical shape. And what is the diameter of the eyeball? The eyeball diameter is about 2.3 centimeters. Light enters the eye through a transparent membrane, and the membrane name is cornea. You can see in your eye, the front layer which is protecting eye is called cornea. Behind the cornea, a muscular diaphragm is there, and its name is iris. And iris is an opening and it's just like a shutter to a part that is pupil. The black color of eye is called as the pupil. Inside a eye, a black color spot is there. That black color spot is called pupil. The pupil controls the amount of light entering the eye. You can see when you want to see large for object, you are opening eye. That means the pupil is expanding. When you want to see the nearest one object, the pupil will be contract. Here, pupil is working as a aperture. The ciliary muscle helps to change the curvature of the lens and the change of the focal length. The ciliary muscle helps to change the curvature of the lens and to change its focal length. Then, working of eye. The eye lens forms a real inverted image of the object on the retina. The light sends to cells in the retina that produce electrical signals which are carried by the optic nerves to the brain. The brain processes the information and sends the message to the eye, and then we see the object. What is that one? The eye lens forms a real inverted image of the object on the retina. The image eye lens what do? The eye lens forms image on retina. The light sensitive cells in the retina, then on the retina what there? On the retina, light sensitive cells are there, and these light sensitive cells produce electric signals, and these electrical signals carried by the optic nerve, and this optic nerve carries these electrical signals to the brain. Then brain processes the information, sends message to the eye, then we see the objects. Power of accommodation of the eye. Next one. The ability of the eye lens to see both near and distant objects by adjusting its focal length is called power of accommodation of eye. The seeing the nearest object and seeing the farthest object is called as the accommodation of eye. The eye lens is composed of fibrous jelly-like material. Its curvature can be changed to some extent by the ciliary muscles. Ciliary muscles are sensory muscles. The change in the curvature of eye lens can change its focal length. The change in the curvature of eye lens can change its focal length. When the muscles are relaxed, the lens becomes thin, so its focal length increase. When the muscles contract, the lens becomes thick, so its focal length decrease. Once again, when the muscles are relaxed, the lens becomes thin, focal length increase. When the muscles contract, lens becomes thick and its focal length decrease. When it is thick, it will be decreasing. When it is thin, it will be increasing. Which one? The focal length. Next one about the near point of eye, the minimum distance at which the eye can see object clearly called near point or least distance of object. People are reading the books, so a young person, a healthy person can see the objects or can see the letters in book up h 25 centimeters. This is about the least distance or near point of sight. Next one about far point. The farthest distance up to which the eye can see the object clearly is called the far point of the eye. So it might be more than 25 to any. So how much you can clearly see that particular point is called the farthest or far point. Generally, how much it is? It is between 25 centimeter to infinite. That is about the based on accommodation of your eye. Then defects in next one about the defects in vision and the correction. There are three defects in the eye vision. They're named as myopia, which means short-sightedness, and second one hypermetropia, which means long-sightedness. Third one presbyopia, which means mix of the myo and hypermetropia. Let's see myopia. Myopia is a defect of vision in which a person can see near object clearly but cannot see the distant objects clearly because the image is formed in front of the retina. It can be corrected by using the suitable concave mirror. You can see this figure. This one is called as the retina, but here in myopia what is going to happen means the image is formed before the retina. So this is the retina, but image is formed where? Here. So this type of the defect is called as the myopia. Then how can you correct this one? This will correct based on so object here and here islands between the islands and object between the islands and object. If a concave mirror is placed, which one? A concave mirror is placed, then the image will be formed on a retina. So by using suitable concave lens, the myopia will be correct. Coming to next one, about hypermetropia. Hypermetropia is a defect of vision in which a person can see distant objects clearly but cannot see the near object clearly because the image is formed behind the retina. It can be corrected by using the suitable convex lens. You can see here the image is formed here, but retina is where? The image is formed behind the retina. So how we going to so the image is formed behind the retina, so that's why this is called as the long-sightedness. It is also called as hypermetropia. How to correct this one? By using, this is about the object, this is about the islands. Between the islands and object, if we use convex lens, then this will be shut out. That means the image will be formed again on the retina. By using convex lens, the hypermetropia will be solved. Coming to the other one, presbyopia. So presbyopia is a defect in vision of old people. This most probably you can see at the old people, those who cross more than 60 years. They cannot see the far object, they cannot see the near objects. So this is the problem. It will be called a presbyopia. So it is a mixture of the short sightness as well as long sightness. So how can it will be correct? It will be corrected by using of the combination of the concave and convex lenses. The upper part is a concave for the correction of the distant vision. The lower part is a convex for the correction of the near vision. This is of the combination of the two lenses. The convex and concave will be used to correct this presbyopia vision defect. Coming to next one about the refraction of light through the prism. So we know that a prism is a three-dimensional body, and it is a transparent material. When a ray of light passes through a glass prism, it gets bent twice at the air glass interface and glass air interface. So what is air glass? So the light should travel from air to glass prism. That corner is called as air glass. When the light is diverging out, that region is called glass air region, and that face is called interface. So the emergent ray is deviated by an angle to the incident ray, and this angle is called angle of deviation. So when the light is entering to prism, it will be considered as the incident, and the angle of incident is called angle of incidence. So when the ray is deviated outside by making certain angle, that is called as angle of deviation. You can see the figure here. The light ray incidented by making certain angle, then it is called as incidenting angle. And it is emerging out by making certain angle, then it will be called as the angle of deviation. So between the incident and emergent, the ray is there, that is called as a refraction ray. About the dispersion, another one, dispersion of white light through a prism. Generally, when a white light passing through a prism, it will be changed into multicolor. That means it will be formed Weber colors. Let's see here. When a beam of white light passes through a glass prism, it split up into band of colors or group of colors called spectrum. This is called dispersion of white light. So white light split into many colors or group of colors. The group of colors are called as spectrum, and this process is called as the dispersion of white light. The spectrum of white light has the colors violet, indigo, blue, green, yellow, orange, red. This is about the Weber. The red light bends the least and the violet bends the most. Which is bending more? The red color is bending more, and the red color bending very less, and violet bends most. This is about the Weber. You can see this figure also. About the recombination of spectrum of light produce white light. So here, when the white light passing through a prism, the white light split into Weber colors. It split into 7 colors. Again, if you put one more prism here, what will be happen? So if you put one more prism here, these colors again enter into this prism, then the multicolors of light again emerging as a single color of white. This is about the recombination of prism. So here you can see from this, when a beam of white light passes through a glass of prism, it split up its component colors. When these colors are allowed to fall on an inverted glass prism, it recombines to produce white light. You can see here. So the multicolors against the white light. So this is about the color change mistake. So this is defect. This is about the white light. The white light split into many colors. Again, many colors when it passes into the inverted prism, again change into white color. So next about the rainbow formation. A rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing in the sky after the rain shower. After rain falling, you might be see this one. It caused by the dispersion of sunlight by the water droplets present in the atmosphere. The water droplets act like small prisms. They refract and disperse the sunlight, then reflect it internally and finally refract it again when it comes out of the raindrops. Due to the dispersion of sunlight, internal reflection by the water droplet, we see rainbow colors. Once again, see, rainbow is a natural spectrum appearing. What is spectrum? Spectrum is group of colors or frequency appearing in the sky after the rain. It is caused by the dispersion of sunlight by water droplets present in the atmosphere. The water droplets acts like a small prism. We saw previously about the prism. They reflect and disperse the sunlight. They reflect in internally and finally refract it again. When it is after multiple reflection, you will find different colors that will be rainbow formation. You can see here white light goes to the prism, and you will be see here. So here in the place of white prism, just you imagine a water droplet. The water droplet, after entering the light, it goes to multiple reflection. Then it will be form multicolors that will be called as the rainbow. But why the stars are twinkling? Other one. The twinkling stars is due to the atmospheric refraction of the starlight. So here we have the atmosphere. In atmosphere many layers, and these layers are refracted. Because of this refraction you are getting that one twinkling star. Due to the changing in the position of the stars and the movement of the layers of the atmosphere, we know that one we have stratotropo ionosphere. These stratotropo ionosphere layers are means the air molecules are moving, and moreover the star's position is changing. Why? Because earth is revolving around the sun, so earth is moving, so that's why the position of star as well as the layers of atmosphere is changing. So the light from the stars is sometimes brighter and sometimes fainter, and it appears to twinkle. So bright and fainter, bright and non-bright is, so you might be observe this phenomena, you might be considered a twinkle. Planets are closer to the earth than stars, so we know that when planets are close to us when compared to the stars. The light from the stars are considered as a prime source of light, and the light from the planets are considered as the extended source of the light. So here we know that the stars are self-luminous, planets are the non-luminous. So the light from the planets nullify the twinkling effect. So we know that one. So planets don't have the self-luminous character, so that's why their character is nothing but nullify the twinkling effect. And finally, why do stars twinkle? So this is about the concept. The stars are twinkling because of the there is a character of reaction between the position of stars and the atmospheric layers. And the last one about the Tyndall effect. Sorry, the other one is about Tyndall effect. What is Tyndall effect? When a beam of light passes through a colloidal solution. What is colloidal solution? It might be sugar solution. It might be any other type of the liquid solution. When a beam of light passes through a colloidal solution, the path of light becomes visible due to the scattering of light by the colloidal particle. This is known as the Tyndall effect. So here you can see this figure. The light is passing from the spectroscopy. The light is passing that we clearly see in this bottle. And final one about scattering of light. The Earth atmosphere contains air molecules, water droplets, dust, and smoke. When sunlight passes through this atmosphere, the path of light becomes visible due to the scattering of light by the particle. The colors of the scattering light depends upon the size of the scattering particle. Very tiny particles scatter blue light, larger particles scatter the colors light. So here tiny particle will be scatter blue light, larger particles scatter different colors of light. So here what is scattering? The scattering is nothing but Earth atmosphere contains air molecules, water molecules, and droplets and smoke. These are through this atmosphere molecules or water droplet. If light is passing, the light will be scattered, and this will be called as the scattering effect, and this will be depend on the size of the particle. You can see this one also. You can use the same thing for this one also. And finally, why the color of the sky is blue? The fine particle in the atmosphere have a size smaller than the wavelength of visible light. They can be scattered blue light, which has a short wavelength, than the red light, which has a longer wavelength. When the sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particles in the atmosphere scatter, and the blue color more strongly than the red color, so the sky appears blue. What is that one? The fine particles in the atmosphere have size smaller than wavelength of visible light. What is wavelength? 0.4 to 0.7. So here the fine particles in the atmosphere have the size smaller than wavelength of visible light. They can scatter blue light which has shorter wavelength than red light which has longer wavelength. We know that one blue is the shorter wavelength, red is the longer wavelength. When sunlight passes through the atmosphere, the fine particles in the atmosphere scatter the blue color more strongly than red. So that's why the color of the sky is blue. If there is if the earth had no atmosphere, what is the color of earth? If earth does not have any atmosphere, the color of earth is dark. Thank you.